Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to Watchers Podcast with your hosts, Brad and Colson.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Why are you doing this to us? Gives you a home.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Brad, here as always with Colson.
Hello.
Colson, how's it going?
It's going good. Yourself?
Pretty good. Said I wouldn't ask that anymore, but here we are.
That's right.
Today we got a fun show.
Yeah.
We're going to be covering a movie that we've been talking about for a while that we wanted to do and we just haven't gotten there yet.
It's been a while now.
Yeah. And that's Sleepaway Camp.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to wait till after the scary story to tell you what it was, but if you've seen the title of the show, you know what we're talking about.
That's true, yes.
Which brings me to the scary story for this episode.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're jumping right into it.
Perfect.
This one comes from Witchery and Wine on Reddit.
Okay.
From the paranormal subreddit that I got kicked out of.
Why'd you get kicked out of it?
Because I gave someone a link to our podcast and...
They don't like that there?
Yeah. Even when I explained, like, hey, it was just a mistake.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you didn't read the rules? It's
they
like,
booted you?
I did, but I forgot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
You're just a rebel, breaking rules.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold that grudge forever.
That's right. What do you, me? Holding grudges forever?
That's right.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
It's my New Year's resolution.
Right.
Start holding grudges.
Exactly.
Anyway, the story goes, in this particular instance, my then boyfriend was at work. I didn't work on the weekends, and I was home with my 2 kids. We had spent the day just doing what we do, and we were sitting in the living room watching TV when I heard the back door open, footsteps to the bathroom, and the shower turn on. I didn't give it much thought, as this was my boyfriend's routine. He worked in the coal mines at the time, and he was filthy by the end of the day. So he came in the back door and went straight to the shower. I noticed the time and saw that it was about 2 hours before he usually got home. So I went to the bathroom door and opened it a crack and asked him if everything is okay. I didn't get a reply, so I figured he may not have heard me over the shower. So I raised my voice some and called his name. Several times. Still no answer. I walked into the bathroom and he wasn't in there. The shower was running, but he was nowhere to be seen. Thinking he left something in his truck, I walked out back and his truck was gone. At this point I had no idea what to think, so I called him. He said he hadn't left work yet and would in fact probably be late. I told him what happened, and being who he was, he made fun of me and said I was either making it up or losing my mind. That's why he's my ex-boyfriend.
I like it.
Yeah, good story.
Yeah.
This one's one of the creepier ones. Like, it's a lot of them. It's like, oh, I woke up and I saw someone standing there, or I heard a voice. This one, it sounds like something actually came into the house,
right?
Turned the water on.
Right? Yeah.
Like a ghost taking a shower.
Yeah, exactly. That's weird, creepy.
Yeah.
I like the ex-boyfriend part too. That's funny.
Yeah, good job getting rid of that guy.
It's funny. It's a good one.
Yeah, great story. Thank you very much, Witchery and Wine. If you guys have a story, you can message us on Instagram or at Watchers_podcast. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, since we've just launched our YouTube channel, all our episodes will be there. Leave a story in the comments, and we will get to it that way too.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So we will be right back with our review of Sleepaway Camp.
On a dark night, you make a wrong turn on the highway and find yourself alone on a country road. You're unnerved, but the road is too narrow to turn around. As your tires crunch over the gravel, you turn the radio up to calm your nerves, and all you find is static. As you reach the end of the dial, you stumble upon a show you, nor almost anyone, has ever heard. Congratulations, you've stumbled upon the Lost Signal, a midnight sanctuary of terrifying audio plays to chill and fulfill. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back. And time to review Sleepaway Camp.
Right.
The movie that asks, do you need to kiss so wet?
That's right.
Came out in 1983. Has a 6.3 on IMDb and directed by Robert Hiltzik. And I can't believe how much of our clothes they stole for the costumes in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Those red short shorts and that sleeveless red and white shirt.
That's right.
Right out of our closet.
Exactly.
So yeah, first time watch for you.
No. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But not a first time.
This will be twice for me.
Okay.
For this one. Yeah, do you want to give a little bit of a rundown?
I sure will, or do. Okay.
Sure will.
Yes. So, Felissa Rose, or Felissa?
I think it's Felissa Rose.
Felissa Rose plays Angela. These are a bunch of no-namers. No offense to the people in this movie.
Yeah.
But they didn't go on to very much afterwards.
No.
Jonathan Tiersten plays Ricky. Karen Fields plays Judy, and Christopher Collette plays Paul. So those are the four names that I have written down.
Yeah.
Short movie, hour and 24, but without credits, probably like an hour and 20.
Yeah. Flies by pretty quick.
It does, yeah. And there will be a spoilers, so
yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go watch.
And I would strongly recommend, if you don't know the end of this movie,
this is one,
watch it.
If you don't know, don't even start this. Just go and watch it and then come back once you're done if you don't know it.
We'll still be here, sitting here waiting for you.
Exactly.
Like a good neighbor.
That's right. So yeah, the movie starts out on a lake. There's a family, a boy, girl, and their father, I assume. They're kind of swimming, playing, having fun.
I will butt in for a second. I love the title screen in this movie.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Sleepaway Camp comes up, I love the music. I don't know if it happens before they're on the lake or right after.
I think it's before.
Yeah.
I think. I can't remember.
Yeah,
now,
you kind of get like the shot over the lake or whatever, and then it's like Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really cool.
So anyway, they're swimming in a lake on a boat or whatever, and then we see a couple on a speedboat and a woman water skiing.
Yeah.
They're annoying as shit.
Yeah. They seem like they're too young to be driving.
Almost.
They're like 14 or
yeah, because the guy the guy who's driving the boat says to the girl, like, she's like, come on, my dad has a boat twice this size or whatever. He lets me drive it, and the guy says, like, he'd fire me. So he's obviously some sort of, like, lifeguard or whatever. I think he's even wearing the shirt, but that would put him, like the camp counselor,
like high school age.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess, but yeah, they seem. Anyway, he lets her get in the driver's seat, and she's not fucking paying attention, and she plows right into the family of three.
Yeah, their boats flipped over, and they're in the water.
They were just kind of frolicking around, about to head in, and it's like. They just
smokes.
Yeah, so it's a crazy shot. Like the boat hits, it launches over their tipped over boat, and everybody's screaming. And
yeah,
we don't see who died. We see the father floating face down, so he's assumed dead, and we see one of the kids is dead too.
Yeah.
Or their life jacket or something pops up.
Yeah, there's like a ripped up life jacket.
So they obviously caught maybe the propeller.
Yeah.
Oof, rough one.
Yeah, no thanks.
So we jump ahead. It goes 8 years later, and we see at this point Angela and her cousin Ricky. So Angela is the girl from the accident that has survived. They're preparing for camp with Ricky's awful mother.
She's the worst.
This woman's horrendous. She keeps... How would you even describe what she's doing? She's going like, we wouldn't want to forget your bags. And then she kind of looks off and taps her face and like, no, we wouldn't want that, would we?
Yeah.
She just keeps doing that.
She's
fucking...
the most out-of-place character in the movie.
It's awful.
It's almost like a dream sequence whenever she's on screen.
It is.
Because
it's very...
everything's all foggy behind, and it's just like her in the staircase. And she looks like she's wearing a costume. Like she looks like Mary Poppins or something.
It's super weird.
Yeah, and she's just like, Angela!
Yeah.
She has this weird voice.
Yeah, she's very like, I don't know, it's almost like she's just trying to be super proper.
Yeah.
Or something. It's very strange.
It is. I don't know if it was done on purpose to make you feel uncomfortable, because that's what it did to me.
That's it. She's awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ricky and Angela, they're heading off to camp. So arriving at camp, we see all these all the buses pull up, all the fucking kids run out. Looks like a nightmare.
Yeah.
You think camp would be fun, like whatever. There's so many, and there's so many age vary. Like there's from, young all the way up to old.
Have you ever gone to camp?
Never. You?
No. I went to camp. It was with like beavers or scouts or whatever.
Okay.
Depending on where you are, I guess. And it was just for like a couple of days. I've never gone like...
So you stay out for a couple of days. You're not coming home every day or whatever.
No.
Right. Did you get scared?
No. We stayed in a giant tent one night.
Oh, wow.
It was really weird. Like, it probably had everybody in it, but it looked like one of those cartoon, just like regular tents.
Yeah.
Full of earwigs. It was great.
They're the worst.
Yeah, Camp Buckin was the name of it.
Camp Buckin.
Yeah, and there was earwigs everywhere. I did this 2 different summers. That year stayed in a tent. The next one, we got to stay in like cabins with bunk beds in them kind of thing.
So how old were you roughly, do you know? Or remember, I should say?
I was probably between 6 and 8.
Okay.
7 and 8 probably, somewhere around there.
Okay.
But yeah, it looked pretty similar to this. Like, there's a beach and you can play sports and stuff.
Right. Okay.
Very, very campy.
Yeah, campy, right. So yeah, all the kids, they're running off the buses, having a fun time. At this point, we're introduced to Ricky, Ricky's friend Paul. Mm-hmm. He mentions Judy and how she has big tits now. And Ricky and Judy, I guess we find out they were going steady last summer, so he's pretty excited that she's kind of blossomed into a... I don't know. Anyway, we also at this point meet the head chef, who might be the creepiest fucking guy in...
Movie history?
It's up there, right?
Yeah. Artie.
He says something, I didn't write it down, I should have, but he mentioned something like, look at all these young girls or whatever, said something about a cue ball reference.
Yeah, he mentions them being bald.
Yeah.
He's
super
so
creepy. I mean, these girls, some of them are like 8 and 9. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't make a difference that the other ones are 14 and 15, but the fact is this guy's fucking creepy.
Yeah, he's clearly a pedophile.
Very, very clear. And that's the other thing. The other cooks around him are just kind of like laughing it off, like, "Oh, you're crazy, man!" Like he's like completely creep. Like
he's standing there like licking his lips, and they're all like, "Oh,
such a
man,
ghoul!
You're so silly." It's like, no, like report this, man.
Exactly, it's awful. So yeah, moving ahead, Angela, she's very strange. Just stares at she hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
Just stare like Judy. I think she's sitting on her bed and she's just like fucking staring at her.
Yeah.
Like not making it, trying to hide it or anything. She's openly like staring.
Yeah, I guess part of her audition, like for the role, was he wanted her to just stare and pretend to eat a candy bar.
Oh, really?
And that was the end.
Jesus.
And for Ricky, it was he got Ricky to tell him off. He was like,
okay.
just tell me off, as best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Here. Ricky rules.
He does.
So yeah, she's just staring. Hasn't eaten anything in days. I think they mentioned 3 days at that point. And that's when they kind of, hey, we'll take you to see the chef, see if he can make you something special that you like. So the guy takes her in there, and he is on creep level like 100.
Oh yeah, brings her into the walk-in.
Let's see if we can find you something. And then he undoes his pants. Like he's like he's saying something like, "Hey, we're gonna find something you like."
Yeah, he's like, "See anything you like?"
Yeah. And then
gross.
at this point, Ricky comes in. Thank God. And Ricky the guy just turns and starts like slamming him. You didn't see nothing, okay? You didn't see nothing. Creep. So anyway, they take off running. At this point, the head chef, who, by the way, I don't know, did you notice he's still doing up his pants when he comes out of the walk-in thing? And the camp owner is even there as the kids run by him. And he kind of looks at them like, what's wrong with them? And he looks back, and the fucking head chef guy's like, oh, I must have scared him. As he's doing his pants back up. Complete creep.
This camp owner,
Yeah.
he doesn't look like him, but he's basically Joe Exotic from Tiger King. Because he's just like, oh, shit's going bad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ignore it because I want to keep making money.
That's right.
Because there's even a part where the owner, he's like, I'm ruined. Like, no one's going to come to this camp. All I could think of was all those memes where it's like, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah, that's a good call. So anyway, the head chef, he comes back out, and did you notice the size of the pot?
Enormous.
The biggest pot I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've worked in kitchens. Yeah. I've never seen a pot that big in my life.
It's got to be, because the stove says waist high. This thing, he had to get on a chair to get into it.
Yeah, I could fit in that pot.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's got to be 5 feet
at least
high. Easy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's nuts.
So he needs a chair to get up, and so he's stirring it. And at this point, we see the killer POV. It's like what the killer sees.
Yeah.
Kind of luring around down low. And he's up on the chair. It's a pot of boiling water, I guess. And you see...
putting corn in it.
Yeah. You see a hand grab the chair and fucking just yank it. And he's kind of like holding a shelf above the pot, like, hey, let me down. You know, he starts panicking.
Yeah.
And then...
he's like, yeah, you get me down from here, I'll make you an ice cream sundae.
An ice cream sundae. Oh. So anyway, the second hand, you see another... The killer's other hand come in, grab the chair, and just rip it out. He falls, grabbing the pot on his way down, tipping it on top of him. And then we just see him screaming for, I don't know, a good 30 seconds maybe. Because his hands and his face is all boiled up and blistered.
The blisters, they're actually like bulging.
Yeah.
And I guess they had like, under the floor, they had like this liquid gelatin. And they pumped it up into the boils or whatever on his face to make them look like they're pulsating.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I will mention, special effects in this movie, spot on.
Yeah, not bad.
Like,
for 1983 and a lower budget horror movie, yeah.
They did good.
So at this point, you mentioned the camp owner. He's trying to hide what happened. He tells all the other cooks there, like, hey, just if anybody asks, he got another job.
Yeah.
You know, tell people that. Don't.
Yeah. Here's some extra money.
Yeah, gives them an extra $50. The other guys get an extra 15, so everybody's kind of happy, and, you know, just don't mention it.
Yeah, and the head cook, or the new head cook, is James Earl Jones' father.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
And
wow.
he's like, oh, that fellow always had a bit of the devil in him anyway, or something like that. So he's like, they're happy he's dead.
Oh, that's, wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a line there with the coroner, or the, like, police or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it would feel like every nerve on his body's on fire.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, they even mentioned, like, his eyes, because I think he obviously got boiling water in the eyes, but
yeah, they're like, yeah, we don't know if he'll be able to see or something.
Brutal.
Like that. Gross.
So yeah, moving ahead in the movie, we see a baseball game going on. There's nothing here, just the kids are trash talking each other.
Yeah.
So next, they call it a social. I wrote down dance because it's kind of just like they go to this fucking shed, basically.
Yeah, it's like a hall.
Yeah, hall, that's it. And they all just kind of hang out there. So the losers of the baseball game, they try to pick up Angela. And they start, hitting on her, and she's just staring at them like she stares. Mm-hmm. And Ricky comes in and sees them hitting on her, and a fucking melee happens. He just kind of starts fighting, and everybody, it's a huge like dog pile fight. Those rule. So yeah, they all start fighting, and at this point they all get thrown out or sent out. Paul, Ricky's friend, he sits down with Angela and starts talking to her a little bit, and she actually says goodbye as he's leaving, and he's like, goodbye! And he's all happy and fucking runs out. Paul rules.
Yeah, Paul's great.
So anyway, at this point, all the guys from the baseball game, the losers, are going to go skinny dipping. The girls, they don't want to join. So the one who was being one of the jerks who was trying to hit on Angela, he goes in a canoe with the girl, and he does that classic, like, starts rocking it and dumps them out.
Yeah, it's like, like the piranhas and turtles are on at night.
So yeah, he flips the boat, and she gets pissed off and swims in. And he goes underneath the canoe and is in that air pocket underneath, and he's just kind of like doing fucking lines to himself because it's echoey and cool. And then we see a head pop up, and he says something like, oh, the guys are going to be happy to see you out here.
Yeah.
And then the hands come up and push him underwater, and that's the end of him.
Yeah.
So he's dead.
Yeah.
Now, so the next morning, one of the counselors is cleaning up all the shit that must have got thrown in the water, and we see the flipped over canoe, and he flips it upright, and we see the dead kid who has a snake that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And it's so creepy. It looks so good.
It does.
And it's creepy.
Yeah, whoever did the special effects, like the dummies and stuff of the dead people, look really real.
They look good. And then the camp owner again, he's like, there's just horseplay. He tipped over, fooling around. What can you do? Moving forward, Paul asks Angela to go to the movie with him, and she agrees. So she's full out talking now. Judy sees this kind of happening and gets jealous, and
Judy's the worst.
Judy's awful. She gets her in trouble. There's another camp counselor. Her name's Meg, and she and Judy are like tight. Mm-hmm. So every time she sees Angela doing shit, she rats her out, and then Meg goes up there and yells at her, does whatever. So anyway, Paul walks after the movie. Now Paul is walking Angela home. He's like, "Hey, let's go back here," and he takes her behind the cabin and then kisses her, and she gets weirded out and is like, "I have to go," and goes inside. Now Judy's watching this whole thing, sees that she's jealous, and even more jealous now.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the next day, they're all swimming. Angela just sitting there watching. She hasn't done anything. She's starting to talk now, but she still hasn't done anything.
Yeah. Is she a counselor, or is she...
Meg?
No, Angela.
Angela is the...
Yeah, but she's at the camp, but is she, like, supposed to be a counselor, or is she supposed to be, like, one of the kids?
She's supposed to be one of the kids at camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't 100% sure. And I was like, if she's a counselor, she's doing a shit job.
Yeah, no, she's just one of the ones at camp.
Okay.
Yeah. They're also... Angela's watching. Judy... Judy's counselor friend gets annoyed at Angela for not talking, because she's like screaming at her and she's not answering her, and then she just grabs her and starts shaking her talk. She just... Anyway. And then moving ahead again, Judy comes out of the shower at this point, and she kind of questions Angela why she doesn't shower with the rest of the girls. She calls her gay and says, maybe you haven't reached puberty yet. She's bald down there. It's like, okay. moving forward.
It's funny that that's an insult from her, but Artie loves that
I
stuff.
know, exactly. So Angela, she leaves the cabin. She's walking out, I think, to go find Ricky or Paul, one of the two.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's just walking, and she gets pelted. All the mean kids are on the roof of their cabin, and they're playing with water balloons. And fucking one of them bombs one and hits her, and she falls down. And then Ricky sees this, and boy, does Ricky give them a verbal beating. He calls them, I wrote down a couple, he says, pricks! Cocksuckers! He's just screaming everything at them as he's being held back by the counselors or whoever. It was hilarious.
It's so funny, because he kind of has like a screechy voice when he's doing it. It's great.
It's fantastic. I love it. So yeah, anyway, the owner, one of the counselor tells the kids to get down, stop frigging around. Now the one guy who smashed Angela with the balloon, he tells everybody he has to take a wicked dump. So he goes into the bathroom, and we see like the door get kind of blocked.
Yeah,
and
they slide like a
broom
handle through the...
And then a knife cuts through the screen behind him, and he's like, "Hey, stop screwing around!" And then a beehive on a branch comes in, and it starts shaking, and he starts freaking out as anybody would, and he's panicking to get out. And
he doesn't try climbing under.
No, doesn't go under, doesn't go over. He just starts shaking the door.
Yeah.
Finally, the broom handle breaks, and he just kind of collapses. This was hilarious because the camera pans from, like, you see his hand,
yeah,
and it pans down, and you see his face is completely covered in bees.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's hilarious. It looks funny.
It does. And they use, like, sugar syrup.
Oh, is that right?
Smeared it over the dummy to get all the bees to attract. It seemed like he died really quick.
He did, yeah. He had Thomas J. It's Thomas J. who escaped from fucking My Girl. Nothing? Sorry. Yeah, he must have been deathly allergic.
Must have.
And it hit him quick. I don't know. But
yeah.
He died. He did die quick. I don't know.
Maybe that's how it works. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Let us know. If there's any bee experts.
Yes. So, now the camp owner, again, he's convinced he knows that there's a killer now. He knows who the killer is.
Yeah, he sees the hate in his
eyes.
eyes.
Sees the hate. So he's going to put a stop to it. And one of the counselors tells him, hey, calm down. You don't know anything. Let's relax a little bit. So moving forward, Paul takes Judy to the lake. Paul takes Angela. Angela's looking around like a cabin, and Paul comes up behind her, and she's like, "I thought you were the killer," and he's like, no. They start running around, joking, playing at the lake, kissing, and then he starts to unbutton her shirt, and she says no, and he's like, "Come on, I'm not doing anything." And then we see a flashback of Angela and her brother laughing at their father in bed with a guy.
Yeah.
So his father's kind of like lovingly or being lovingly petted.
Yeah.
Like it was. I guess their kids are like as this is going on, and then a weird scene of them just kind of sitting in bed, like pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what that was about?
No idea.
I don't know either. The camera's just kind of panning around the bed.
Yeah.
As they're like pointing at each other, or maybe they're like touching each other in the chest. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. This is the only scene in the movie that just makes no sense.
Yeah. It's strange. Maybe there's something behind it we just don't know.
We could be idiots.
I have no idea. Could be. Anyway, so she gets fucking weirded out. She panics and runs off. So the next day they're playing Capture the Flag. Angela and Paul, they have a fight. And Angela doesn't like being touched, as we found out the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I think she leaves, and Judy comes up and tries to make her move. And Ricky's going to play capture the flag. He's got a plan to capture their flag.
Right.
That's what it was. So they see Paul. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking up the names here. Paul and Judy are kissing in the woods.
Yeah.
And they both see it. So Ricky is pissed off at Judy because he's been trying to get with her the whole time, and Angela just takes off running, upset because Paul, of course, was kissing the meanest person there. Next at the lake, so Paul's apologizing to Angela. Judy again interrupts. Paul leaves, and then Judy and Meg pick her up and like throw her in the water.
Yeah,
and she's like freaking out, and obviously she doesn't like the water anymore since the accident, I would assume.
Yeah.
At this point, Ricky sees this happening, and he tries to go down there, and the owner, Mel is his name, he stops Ricky and starts accusing him, and Ricky's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. He's trying to get away to save Angela. So moving forward, Meg, we find out, has the night off, so she's going to go to dinner with Mel.
Very strange.
Yep. So Meg, she goes to get ready, and she has to go. She showers in like the cabins next door. Angela watches her leave, like she stares at them always. And so Meg is in there. She's showering, and we see the door open, and there's like a shadowy figure there holding a knife. And back to Meg showering. She's washing her hair, whatever, and then she just kind of goes like, "Ah!" as it cuts, and we see like it stabbed through the shower and just starts like dragging down.
Yeah.
Cutting like the metally or plastic shower and her back, obviously.
Yeah.
Right down her spine area. Brutal.
That feels so bad.
Oh, it'd be awful. So Paul, he runs into Angela again. So moving forward, he runs into Angela. He apologizes again. And she says that she wants to meet him on the waterfront. Meet me on the waterfront after the social. So he's okay, all excited, whatever. Now, Eddie, who I haven't mentioned, but he's one of the camp counselors, he has a group of kids that he's taken out to, like, camp. Like, legit camp, not in a cabin.
Yeah. Eddie has some interesting clothing choices.
Yes, he does. Yeah. So he's out in, I don't know where. It doesn't really show, but they had to drive to get there.
Yeah.
Because two of the kids want to go back, and he's like, God, Christ, get in. So he takes two and leaves like a group of the kids just sleeping. They're fine, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, jumping forward again. Now Mel is looking for Meg because she was supposed to have dinner with him, and he's looking for her and goes to Judy's cabin where she's with a guy, and he jumps off and hides under the bed. And then he says, I'm looking for Mel. And she's like, she was next door showering last time I saw her. So he goes next door, and Meg falls out. I don't know how the hell she was standing in there still. Yeah. But anyway, she fell out of the shower, and she looked like she'd been dead for a while. Like, it was gross. Like that bluish, veiny shit that happens.
Yeah, big slice down her back.
Yeah, slice down her back. And Mel, at this point, he's convinced Ricky did it, so he's going to find Ricky. Now, back at Judy's cabin, the door pops open. We see a shape standing in the door, and it walks up to her, and she's like, oh, it's you. And then it punches her, whoever it is, punches her right in the face, then puts a pillow over her head, and then grabs a curling iron and does something with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yeah, that curling iron becomes a dildo.
Okay, that's... I assumed.
Yeah.
But I wasn't very... because she dies. Now, does she die from the shock of that pain or the suffocation from the pillow?
I assume it's the suffocation.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Whole combination of things, perhaps.
Yeah. Bad way to go.
Yeah. She dies.
I assume.
Yeah, she's dead.
Yeah.
So, the killer's ramping up here at the end here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eddie, who had the kids, he had dropped the two off that wanted to go back, and he arrives back to the tent area, or wherever, and they're all butchered. They're all just dead. So I don't know how many kids were there, but they're all dead now.
Yeah, I love Eddie.
Yeah.
He's always like, oh, jeez. Like, oh, man.
And I think there was a scene there where you see the killer POV again, looking at them camping, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, why else would they all be dead, right?
Yeah.
I assume. Anyway. At this point, Mel, he catches Ricky and just starts he gets him in full mount and starts ground and pounding him.
Yeah.
So he's raining blows upon Ricky's dumb head and knocks him out or kills him or whatever. We'll find out in a few minutes. And he goes up and he's walking across the archery range because you can see like the archery thing behind him. And he says, "It can't be you," as we see like somebody spinning an arrow. And then gets shot right through the neck.
Yeah.
And again, it looked like an arrow went through this guy's neck.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that was great. So now the counselors, a couple of them gather up. They're looking for all the missing people. Now, Paul finds Angela down at the water, and she says she wants to go swimming nude. So Paul's like, all right. So he starts undressing, and you see her kind of start undressing. Camera cuts away. Now there's cops there with the counselors. They find Ricky, who is alive. His face is all beat up.
Yeah.
And then another one finds Meg, the counselor. And other counselors are looking for Paul and Angela. Now they come up and they see Angela sitting nude with her back to them. And she's like petting Paul's head.
Yeah.
Like humming like...
Yeah.
Just kind of rubbing his head. And then we get a flashback. The camera's very like slowly panning across. But then we get that flashback scene. And it's back to Ricky's mom. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy to have a little girl." And we can't have two boys. And all this shit. And it's just like, holy fuck. And you see it's a little boy with like a head bandage on.
Yeah.
So we find out, din.
The sister was killed.
The sister was killed. The father was killed. The boy lived. And this crazy bitch...
She already had a son.
Had a son already. Can't have two boys, as
Nope.
she explained. Cuts back to Angela. She stands up. Paul's head just kind of rolls away.
Yeah.
She was petting his head. Because the shot we see, it looked like he may have just been laying on her lap.
Yeah.
Head rolls away. She's standing there, like, I think she's holding a knife in her one hand.
Yeah.
Looking, like, off to the side with her mouth open, like, argh.
Yeah. Like, this creepy, like, guttural noise.
Exactly.
It's so scary.
And the camera's panning back, and the counselor's like, how could it be? She's a guy! As it pans back, and you see everything.
Yeah.
She's
and they use your body double for this.
Nude. Yeah.
In this movie. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
I always just thought they used someone transgender, but they actually took a mask and put it on your head.
I actually read that. It was, It was, crazy. So, that's the end.
Yeah. One of the best / craziest endings in a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
So, you had mentioned first watch or whatever. Now, I watched this movie. I was trying to think about it because I was either 10 or 11.
Oh, man.
Now, my dad and my friend, we were watching it together. And as we're watching, we were all laughing when Ricky's fucking, "Pricks! Cocksuckers!" As he's having to say, we're all, this is great, whatever. And at the end, as that camera pans back and you see the dick and the pube bushel standing there, all three of us were just like, holy shit. No idea, like, just such a great twist to have. Like,
it is.
It was crazy. And
oh, man.
We had the same response to the count, like, it was a guy, like, whoa. And that was, 20 years ago was probably the first time I watched it. I hadn't heard anything about the movie. It was one of those ones, we had talked about our favorite box art.
Yes.
this was one that kind of drew my eye in. It had a knife through like a shoe.
Yep.
And in the background, you can kind of see like a writing, like "Dear Mom and Dad" or whatever. Camp is going, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was always interested by that, like, and that's how I ended up renting it. But it was crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I love it.
It's a good one.
High body count.
Yeah. I didn't even write it down because I don't even, like, with all the kids, who knows how many there were.
Yeah.
The counselors and everybody, 10, 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Could be more.
At least. Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite kill?
Ooh. What would be my favorite?
Oh, my favorite. I just wrote down the bees, just because I think it is so funny how you see that hand shaking the beehive in, and he's freaking out. I loved it, and then the pan across the body with the freaking bees all over his face.
I think my favorite's the boiling water.
Yeah, that is a good one.
There's so much satisfaction there because he's the biggest asshole ever.
For sure.
And then you're like, oh, he's suffering. This is great.
It's true.
And
good
it's gross.
Yep. Do you have a least favorite? I wrote down Judy with the iron just because it's only with a shadow that you see. Could be anything, really, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or that happens off screen.
Yeah, I'd say probably like the girl at the start.
Right.
Getting hit by the boat.
Okay.
You just see the life jacket.
Yeah. That's
Not
true.
that I want to see a child get murdered on screen, but...
anything make you jump in this one?
No.
No, me
no
neither.
jumps.
And I wrote down how the ending was a shock on first view for me. But I just told that story. But it was just so funny. Like,
yeah.
It was like we were laughing afterwards. Like, holy shit, that was crazy. You know, 10 or 11-year-old me or whatever it was. But crazy.
So spooky, scary, or terrifying?
I put this one as scary. It's a fun one, though.
Yeah.
You?
I'll put it at scary. In the last minute and a half of the movie, I'm putting it terrifying.
Terrifying, yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that face. The first time I watched this movie, that face would randomly pop into my head all the time, and I'd be like, ugh. Like,
I just get the shivers every once in a while. Classic. On to ratings.
Yeah. What do you give Sleepaway Camp?
I give it an 8.5.
All right.
You?
Right up there with you, a 9.
Okay.
It's almost perfect.
Yeah.
Like, for such a low budget.
Yeah.
Like, everything's so well done. Original.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
ending.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, would this be one that you would be okay with getting a remake?
No.
Okay.
I don't see a point.
Yeah.
Like,
with me, personally, I'm okay with any remake, because whatever. I think you are too. But my thing is the picture quality just isn't there. And it would be cool to be able to get this, like, if they could just shoot the exact same thing with the exact same people at the exact same time in 4K or Blu-ray or
that'd
whatever.
Be nice.
I mean, I get that it's like kind of a grittier movie, but some of it's in rough, like, when you can actually hear, like, the... It's like, oh no. And I have it on DVD. I don't know what the Blu-ray is like. I've heard it's not the best.
Yeah.
But
I watched it online on like Prime or Shudder or something.
Okay.
And it was pretty good on that.
Okay. So maybe it's just my shitty DVD.
It could be your shitty DVD.
And it is just a shitty DVD. It's not like it's a special release or anything like that. It's one of those, like, it smells. You know, you smell it and they stink. Those ones. Like dollar store ones, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll look into the Blu-ray. Maybe that'll be better.
Yeah.
Anything could be better than mine. So, that's it for me. You got anything else?
No, that'll do it for this episode. Let us know what you guys think of Sleepaway Camp. If there's anyone that doesn't like it, I want to know why you don't like this movie.
And I'd also like to hear people's thoughts on the end. Like, on first, if you knew about it, if you didn't, going in... You know, that ending is just, it's awesome.
Yeah, comment, tell us your reaction to the ending of this movie. We want to hear it all. So that'll do it for this episode.
Yep.
We're going to go and...
Uh-oh.
do nothing.
Okay, well, it's a first. Holy shit.
The swerve, the twist ending
Yes.
for the Sleepaway Camp episode. Bye. That concludes our show. Hope you had fun, and if you want to subscribe, we're available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, though, please be sure to leave that coveted 5-star review. If you want even more Colson and Brad, you can check out our Facebook page by searching Watchers Podcast. Follow us on Letterboxd at Campbell Brad and Noslock88. That's Colson backwards, 88. And on Twitter at WatcherPod, and on Instagram at Watchers_podcast. Bye.